What's up, beautiful people? How's everybody doing? This is your boy, T.W. Suggs, sending you all types of mad love and dope vibes. You know how we do. You know you feel these vibes. You know you feel these here vibes. Go ahead and move with this music. Bob your head. Do what you do. You know how we do. We love you. You're tuned into the right place. Do not change that dial. Do not change the station. We want you here with us. All right, and guess what, y'all? I am in the place with the one and the only Ayana Blount. What's up?
What's good, bro? What's good?
How you feeling, sis?
Phenomenal. I'm on the Tommy Show.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. They ain't ready.
We always ready. Okay?
Yo.
We a reality TV society, and we ready to be in real time with you.
Hey, come on.
Let's make it do what it do.
Let's make it do what it. You put the sexy voice. Let's make it do what it do. Like it's the 12 a.m. voice. Hey, you are tuned into
that part.
Midnight Talk with Ayana.
And the TW.
That's why I can't take you nowhere, yo.
Right,
you co-sign on too much, yo. So, Ayana, today's show is, we talked about this, today's show is just simple. She's dope, right? And I could not have this show about She's Dope and not have Ayana Blount here with me. Ayana is a banana strategist, thinker, innovator, mover, shaker. Her perspective is so spot on that you could be looking at something, but after Ayana says something, it's like it completely just ruins your whole life. Like, I did not see that. I'm gonna sit down and say lie. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. In a good way. So yeah, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite, and thank you for just extending a part of your soul, to all of us to be able to really tap in and enjoy. It's a pleasure, and we're gonna have some fun today.
We're gonna have some fun.
Yes, it's gonna be dope.
It's gonna be dope. Because she's dope. Look, so I just want to read over Ayana's bio. So just so you all know, well, you already know because she's already out there, but just so you all know who we have in the studio with us today. So Ayana Blount is known professionally as the Passion Strategist. She is a master communicator who wears the hat of award-winning speaker, host, strategist, podcaster, author, and coach. She has learned firsthand how impactful one's mindset can be in their journey to authentic success. Wow, not just success, authentic success.
That's
wow. With a style that engages her audience in courageous conversations, Ayana's electric energy and encouraging words inspire innovators to manifest their greatest success. Ayana helps you to get you the keys, TM to success, unlock the door, and unleash the winner within. Using her signature success over sabotage, strategy, Ayana delivers knowledge-based content and a transformational package that calls the hearer beyond limiting beliefs into limitless success. Ayana, my gosh. And anybody who knows Ayana, you know that when she speaks, it's just, it's always fun. It's always coming from a genuine place, and it's always encouraging. So thank you. Thank you for all that you do for us creatives, for all that you do for us innovators, because we are definitely a unique breed, right? Yeah. And we're easily misunderstood. So to have somebody in the trenches with us to understand us and let us know that we're not crazy.
Absolutely not.
Right? So thank you so much, Ayana. We appreciate you.
Yes, indeed.
So for this episode of She's Dope, we came up with an acronym. The idea for coming up with an acronym was all Ayana. and we were playing around with some stuff. So I cheated and used AI, right? So AI can be a super dope partner. So we came up for the word dope. We're using it as an acronym for determined, ownership, pioneering, and embracing. So just a quick description about the show. This episode In this context of DOPE serves as an acronym for women who possess that steadfast resolve despite any obstacle, who owns the power by taking up space, who are trailblazers, and they're also supporting uplifting other women and their communities. In this episode, we will explore what catalyzes and diminishes the awesomeness of women. We'll discuss the internal and external barriers many women experience that prevent them from owning the space and showing up in their fullness.
This gonna be good.
This gonna be good.
Woo.
This gonna be good.
Yeah.
So listen, so of course I have some questions for you. You know, especially as a woman who is dope. So has that can you um can you connect with anything that was just shared? Have you ever experienced that difficulty with showing up in the room in your fullness and really owning the space? And how did you get over that? How did you navigate that?
Man, so I think that particular lane of transcending, right? I don't think it's gender specific, but I will lend my
Wow.
perspective from my gender, right?
Okay.
Because
Woo!
I think that it's just so much bigger, right?
Yeah.
But as a woman in particular, when you talk about having to transcend obstacles before you get to opportunity,
Yeah.
when you talk about your ability to be allowed, and in some cases to give yourself permission to take up all the space that
Yeah.
you have been given, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about being given that by men. I'm not talking about being given that by co-signers in the peanut gallery. I'm talking about what God literally gave you.
Yeah.
It has been a consistent part of the journey.
Wow.
One of the things that I loved that you said when you broke down the acronym as far as DOPE, and you talk to the people about what the layers that we're going to go into and dig down into, is that I think that DOPE represents the evolution of a woman, right?
Yeah.
Because you absolutely come here determined, right? As a 1-year-old, you're determined to take these steps and figure out how these leg things are supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
Weeble wobble, fall down, but you get back up.
Yeah.
Then you get to the place of owning the fact that these my legs, they supposed to work for me, right?
Yeah.
And we had that moment in life and business and beyond, right? Where we figure out this is my gift. It's supposed to work for me, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so then you own that mindset, you own that reality. So then you push through to the part of the DOPE process where you are pioneering.
Yeah.
And pioneering is simply the place where you finally accept the grace to run your race.
Wow.
You finally understand that there's a plan that had you in mind before you even recognize that you were a part of the game.
Wow.
And so you accept the fact that you have to access uncharted territory.
Yeah.
But you do it in a way that is fearless.
Yeah.
In a way that's intentional.
Yeah.
And in a way that is determined to thrive no matter what is happening on the inside of you.
Wow.
Because the key to success and the key to life is affirmation. Affirmation begins within.
Yeah.
And too many of us are ODing on validation, social media, right?
Wow.
When you really need to master the art of affirmation, looking at yourself in the mirror and being able to say, I'm dope.
Yeah.
And be unapologetic.
Yeah.
And understand that that doesn't mean that I have to shrink in my seat in order to make room for you to sit with me. No, we both could be beefy up in here.
Come on.
Right? These hips was made for sitting.
Ain't no vegans here.
Okay. And so you have to really just come into this place of ownership. And that's when you get to that last phase of the evolution, that embracing that we're talking about in this DOPE concept, right?
Yeah.
Because once you embrace who you really are, I'm talking about what you actually like and don't like, what you actually hold as a core value, a boundary, and you stop settling and you stop shape shifting for other people to be comfortable in your presence.
Wow.
Let me tell you what happens. One, they gonna be okay. But two, you make way for the people that are supposed to be in the room with you.
Yeah.
And so many people are like, oh, I don't have friends, or I don't have resources, or I don't have a team, and all of these things. But what happens is when you start to embrace me, all the other stuff will come.
Wow.
So I think that it is critical that we go through this period where we have to sort of flex our muscles.
Yeah.
We have to become strong enough and thick enough in our skin that we can transcend every obstacle that's going to come, because every time you get ready to access the next level of opportunity, you're going to meet obstacles. You're going to meet opposition.
Wow.
So you come to expect it. And then when you say, oh man, all right, I'm supposed to be here doing this at this time, you get to a place where you start to relax when the obstacles come.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm going to be there at the appointed time.
Come on.
And it's a peace that you can live in that allows you to continue to pursue what your gifting is.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be stopped.
Yeah.
You're unstoppable when you stand authentically.
Wow.
In your dopeness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo! Come on. Something that you shared was the power of affirmation and affirmation versus validation.
Yes.
Right. And something that I was listening to, I was listening to a message, and they said that to speak it even though you may not see it or you may not even believe it about yourself, but just to continue to affirm that thing until it really gets down into your spirit and gets down into your heart.
Yep.
You know, so sometimes in that journey and in that evolution, there's that space where it's like, okay, I'm saying that I'm dope. I don't feel dope. I don't feel capable. I don't feel competent. I don't feel empowered, but I still have to say this and believe it for myself and not look externally. Something that I wrote something a while ago that said surrogates are not allowed.
Come on.
You can't have somebody carry something else that you're supposed to birth.
Come on.
Right? So you got to get in the stirrups. You have to go through that process. You have to go through the morning sickness, everything that you were supposed to birth, you were graced to birth.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
So listen.
We told y'all it was going to be deep.
We told y'all it was going to be deep.
But it's also going to be dope.
But it's going to be dope. It's going to be deep, dope. There you go. So listen, y'all, I reached out to, just changing gears real quick, and I want to get your take on this too. We reached out via social media, and anybody who's looking for my social media is TW Suggs on Instagram and Facebook. Website is www.twsuggs.com. And I asked, because Mother's Day is right around the corner.
It is.
And I asked the moms on social media, Facebook and Instagram, I said, what is your idea of the perfect Mother's Day gift? So I'm gonna read a couple of these, and then I want to hear, because I saw you add something there too, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah.
So we have Tammy Howard, who shout out to Tammy Howard, that's my buddy. She says breakfast I didn't cook and a clean house.
It's the little thing, somebody.
It's the little.
That's it.
Breakfast I didn't cook.
Uber eats that thing, but just as long as I ain't got to cook it.
As long as I ain't got to cook it. Let's go. I have Ann Stevenson, who says acknowledgement and appreciation, a gift of time, assistance as needed, and honor. I have Lynette Trawick, another good friend of mine, who says a spa day and a nice dinner. I have Emily Wiggins said this, and then Ramona Sharp said amen to it. She said to do absolutely nothing for anyone. I mean, that part.
When I say it, lift your hands and just say, I embrace the spirit of nothing.
I embrace the spirit of nothing.
On this day.
Come on. That's a part of self-care and caring for yourself too, right? Because that's where you eliminate that compassion fatigue, and that's where you really allow yourself, to get refilled when you say, okay, that's enough. I have to take care of mommy right now. So wow.
That's why she got an amen corner.
That's why she got an amen corner right there, right? I have Dion, who shared, honestly, since my mom, my children, and I are together so much, and we celebrate each other for just because we give each other flowers, gifts, dinners, etc. So Mother's Day has really just become a regular Sunday to us. But of course, we still honor that day too. I thought that was excellent to make sure you appreciate your mom. I have Melissa Hall, who said, I like the suggestions that were already shared. She said, how about paying some bills? Doing some housework so mom can chill. She said, but for herself, and this is interesting, she said, but for myself, I'm going to buy myself some flowers and I'm going to get a manicure and a pedicure.
I love that.
Isn't that dope?
I love that.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. I have Kaylin Koval, who shared, who was a phenomenal person, a brilliant innovator, and a close friend, shared spending time with my son. That's all I need, and that day will be perfect. I have Yehoshua Armstrong, and let me know what you think about this. Okay. She says, getting what I want or need. She said, so just ask me. Don't get me what you think I need, because that can change based on how I feel.
You better preach.
Is that something that you find as a mom?
Help is not help. unless it's the help that I need. And that's a real statement.
Wow.
Because what you think I need and what I actually need.
Yeah.
Man, listen, she just said a word. That's heavy.
Wow. You know what? And I tried that out on my mom. And I said, because I'm thinking roses and flowers and this and that and the third. I said, Mom, what you she probably gonna kill me. I said, Mom, what you want for Mother's Day? I said, me and Grammy were thinking about some stuff. She said, I want to eat. I just want some food. That's it. She said, I love movies. I just want food and a movie.
There you go.
Got you.
There you go.
I got you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yo, I got you. I have Mwese Igor, aka Mima. She said alone time. Wow. I have Sean Randall, another sister of mine, who says she says a massage and a good home cooked meal. She said the lines are too long for restaurants, so a marinated ribeye with a baked sweet potato and Parmesan roasted veggies.
The recipe for success up in this camp.
She said, "I'm gonna let you know."
She said the line at the market is much shorter.
Come on.
And the kitchen still works.
The kitchen still works
when I ain't in it.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mm-hmm. I have Pamela Worthen Gatling, who is another dear friend, who says one hotel room, one key, leave me be.
Listen, she a poet and she ain't know it.
She a poet and didn't know it.
Yep.
I have Khadija Muhammad Kibe or Kibi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that last name. She said a hotel space for myself and to Netflix and chill. I have Monica Duck, who said it's simple, just spending time with my children, laughing and making memories.
Love it.
I have Laura Mars, another dear friend, who says time with my people, no gifts, just chilling and laughing. And Stacy DeStefano, who was on a show not too long ago last year for celebrating women in their power. And she says anything handwritten, a note, a card, even an email from my now adult children saying something wonderful they remember we did together from their childhood. I don't need any expensive gift or flowers.
Yeah.
So folks, hopefully y'all heard a theme in there. Hopefully y'all heard a theme in there. So Ayana, as a mom, right, what is your idea of a perfect Mother's Day gift?
Man. So first of all, waking up.
Hey.
And seeing that my seed is healthy.
Yeah.
And happy.
Yeah.
And in her zone of genius, right? Which is just enjoying being a child.
Yeah.
Because that says, Mom, you're doing something right. That she's not burdened down with the weight of the world. She's not exposed to things that she's not even equipped to process through,
Yeah.
But for me, it is so simple. And I think, like you said, there's a theme here. And really what it is that sometimes the heaviest hitters in your life, the ones that hold you down right when you need us, we don't require all of the bells and the whistles.
Wow.
Because we understand that, okay, Shirley Caesar, that's my forever and ever, amen, that's my girl. The song that she is like 40, 50 years old now. It ain't never about to go out of season and out of style. She said, for the 9 months I carried you, no charge.
Wow.
So here's the thing. I accepted the charge.
Yeah.
So I was aware and I became even more intentionally aware as I journeyed through this thing called motherhood.
Yeah.
Of the fact that it came with a price.
Wow.
And so all I need is to know that my life has made a difference in your life.
Wow.
So I agree with Stacy. Listen, if you are able to find a way to express something authentically and uniquely with your little fingerprint on it, even at your big age, if your mama, bless her heart, is here at 70 and you 40, 50, she would still love a handwritten note. She would love I can remember being a youth leader some years ago, and what I had the kids do, and I'm talking about kids like 12 and under, I literally had them, we sat the mothers in front of them, and we had them to share words from their heart, and not words that they prepared ahead of time, but just in this moment, in this space, tell me why your mom means so much to you.
Wow.
And you don't realize how that fills up our emotional tank.
Yeah.
And those are the things that last, right?
Wow.
One of the moms talked about making memories. So, I mean, if you want to fly me to Aruba, phenomenal. But if you want to just be with me and tell me, Mom, now I understand. Mom, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Mom, my favorite thing that you do is when you cook the pancakes because I can smell them when I'm upstairs in my room, and I
Yeah.
know that somebody loves me because you got up early to
Yeah.
go and do that for me before I go to school every day.
Yeah.
You help me with my homework.
Hmm.
It's the little things, because there are so many times that we push through
Mm-hmm.
and we're tired too.
Yeah.
We're human too.
Yeah.
But we show up with these capes. So if you
Wow.
can just allow me to take off the cape
Hmm.
and celebrate that I make mistakes and let me be beautifully human
Wow.
while I'm being your beautiful mom.
Woo!
That's enough for me.
Oh, God. Thank you for that. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with our first interview with Tezarah Wilkins. Don't go anywhere. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You are still tuned into the Tommy Talk Show, and I'm with my co-host, Ayana Blount, the Passion Strategist. And ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today a dope and phenomenal woman by the name of Tezarah Wilkins. What's up, Tezarah?
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me, y'all.
Absolutely, absolutely. How you feeling today?
I'm good. It's been a heck of a week for me, so I'm teetering through, but I'm good. It's good to see you. I know I haven't seen you in forever, so.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. We gonna connect soon. So it's been a rough week. We ain't got beat nobody up, do we, Tez? Because Ayana and I will go ahead and
Nah, it's the work. The work. Just been working
I could
hard.
dig it. I could dig it. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Tezarah was just talking about the work. I'm going to read Tezarah's bio so you can get an idea of the type of work that Tezarah is doing. She was a guest on the show a couple months ago, possibly almost a year ago, when we were we had a conversation, I think you would appreciate this, Ayana, called Aliens Living Among Us.
Yes.
A conversation with brilliant creatives. And we had Tezarah on, and we had Stephen Taylor who is the founder and curator for the Ubuntu Art Gallery down on Germantown in Philadelphia, PA. And so Tezarah is a mover and shaker. So here's what we have for Tez. So Tezarah Wilkins is an accomplished multimedia producer with over a decade of experience in media production and management. With a background in theater and a passion for storytelling, she is skilled in managing, producing, and creating high-quality media that captivates audiences and sparks meaningful conversations. As a published photographer, film, and audio producer, Tezarah has created a diverse portfolio of work. She has produced several impactful documentaries and series, including the acclaimed 5-part short documentary series Just Love Stories, and web series such as Dear Nick and Self-Love for Superwoman. Wow. Notably, her direction of Just Love Stories, Queens Rule Together earned her the accolade of Best Direction at the Sports, Fitness, and Recreation Film Festival, and has been screened at multiple festivals internationally.
It's global, y'all.
It's global, y'all. Look here. It's global. It is global. Tezarah's podcast, Who Taught You How to Drive, not only garnered a dedicated following, but also earned her a coveted position in the first international cohort of the PRX Google Podcast Creator Program in 2019. The opportunity allowed her to further develop her podcast and create a live production showcasing her talent and commitment to pushing the boundaries of storytelling. Once again, Tezarah, welcome so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Ayana, what you got for Tez, sis? What you got? What you got?
First of all, I'm just going to address you correctly. Like, we had a little moment when you first tapped in, and I said, "What's good, Queen?" I mean, creative, all on the scene. And I'm gonna just lovingly adopt you as Lady T, okay? Because when I say, it's something about when a lady walks into the room, everybody acts like they know what to do. And this is a lady for y'all, okay? A lady in the creative sphere, a lady who is absolutely concentrated on chasing her craft and not the bag. And baby, when I tell you it produces what it's supposed to produce, you are phenomenal at what you do. And we literally, we gotta honor you coming out of the gate, because I think that what you represent is literally where the crossroads of creativity and just community come
Yeah.
together, because I was sharing with our bro. I was like, you know what I love about her is that everything she touches is a statement piece,
Mm-hmm.
and it's your statement. Because it's one thing to have a statement piece, you know, you go to a jewelry store and you want to get a statement piece, right? But you could potentially find that same statement in another store or in another lane, and but there's nothing like what you say
Mm-hmm.
through your art and your work.
Yeah.
It's your statement
Yeah.
piece. And that is what I love to see the most when I had the opportunity to just kind of drink in who you are as a creative. So,
Mm.
I mean, salute. Please keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
We need more of it. We need all of you.
Yeah.
I
Tezarah's a rock
appreciate it.
star.
Thank you.
She's a rock star. Like we have, so whenever I have like a creative idea or something like that, I'm always like, Tezarah, you got time to talk this week? Like, and I just like hunt her down, and I just kind of show up on her lawn, while
Not
she's eating
on
cornflakes,
the lawn. That's
just
all
staring at
right.
her window. Hey, it's me. She calls the cops. I go running. It's just
All right.
little cat and mouse game that she and I have. It's fun.
You're a mess.
So Tezarah, you are. We didn't want to have this show without having you on here as a dope, phenomenal woman. For the whole month of May, we're celebrating dope women, and so with all that you're doing, and especially with you showing up with so much bravery, right? You're hopping into these spaces, you're doing the podcast, you're doing directing and all that other stuff. Like, what contributes to that dopeness? What contributes to that bravery that you have to just go out and try it, even if you don't know if it's going to succeed?
Well, I mean, I think there are a couple things actually. I
Mm-hmm.
have always been a very like inquisitive person,
Mm-hmm.
so I am someone who likes to learn. I
Mm.
like to I'm very reserved. I'm also not like an extrovert, so I am the quiet observer, like I
Mm.
like to hear people's stories. I like to hear about other cultures, and that kind of is what drives most of the work that I do. I want to be in a place where I feel like I can, give as well as like also receive,
Yeah.
something from people. But I also think what helps is being, connected to powerful women as well, because
Wow.
there are, I was hearing y'all two talk and, just talking about like some of the things that women do go through, or, some of the reservations you may have about yourself or your own gifts.
Mm.
And there have been a lot of times where, I've wanted to say no to things, I've said no to things, and there have
Mm.
been people around me that are like, you need to do this. Like,
Wow.
or, like, or I might have been thinking about something, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, but maybe I'm not like at the place for it. And then like, somebody will like inbox me or text me like, you need to complete this thing, and I'm like, oh,
Wow.
I didn't realize that my work like was this, or like
Yeah.
that you thought this much of it, or because I had like I didn't know about it myself,
Yeah.
so I think it's always good to have people around you who respect the work that you do,
Mm.
and who want to see you do well.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, wow, that's crazy. Because when I asked the question, I thought that you were going to say something like, you know what, I just got to just dig my heels into the sand. I never and
I
just
don't
go
even wear
for
heels,
That's why you one of my homies. That's why. That's why. Tezarah is so real. But the power of community
Yep.
and the power that other women have to support other women.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Is that something that you also see?
Absolutely. I'm telling you, nobody successes alone. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care where you came from.
Yeah.
Somebody put you on their shoulders. Somebody put you on their platform.
Yeah.
Somebody held a door open. Or like what Lady T is saying, somebody put their hand in your back and
Yeah.
said, no, you're going to show up and you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Because you built for it.
Yeah.
And you need those people to help you to show up as your full self.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't fully trust ourselves. Sometimes we don't really know what we're getting into, but we got to have somebody. I always tell people you need three people in your life. You
Yeah.
need a coach, you need a contemporary, and you need a community.
Wow.
And each one of those plays a significant role in you blossoming fully and successfully.
Wow.
And so Lady T is leaning into the community dynamic
Yeah.
today, because truly a community can help you to be
Yeah.
dope.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Um, Tezarah, what was one of your biggest challenges? So you let us know what was and you touched on some of that when we asked the last question. But what were some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced in your journey?
I think one of the biggest challenges is like the imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think that I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I'm not formally trained in a lot of the art forms that I engage in. You
Wow.
know,
So
like
glad
so
she
there are
said
some
to
things
touch
like
on
I was
this.
trained. I went to theater school. You know, like I was trained in that. I do photography. That was something that I just kind of picked up,
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of learned myself. And then like when I got to like a wall where I couldn't like go any further, then I like took a class
Mm-hmm.
to see what was, so a lot of the things that I do now, like podcasting, just came out of just having nothing to do and being bored, you know, driving to these other places as a consultant and doing all this other work. It was like, I was just listening to those, listening to podcasts. Like a friend
Mm.
of mine had told me about him. I started listening to him and I'm like, this is, something interesting. And, I feel like I could have a viewpoint about something, and then I did it. And then, other people were like a little confused about it, but they liked it a little bit. And then they like rolled with me a bit. And then I applied for something and then I end up getting into like an international cohort,
Wow.
so the things that I do, I don't want to say like I'm just naturally gifted, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
like in a place of like creativity sometimes that other people, like I'm also a person that like tries not to do what everyone else is doing. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I look for things that people aren't doing so
Yeah.
that I can, live in that space a little bit, and not have as much competition and all those other things because the anxiety gets to me. And there's so
Yeah.
many people doing everything now. Like everybody is a multi hyphenate now. Like
Right.
when I grew up, it was like people wanted to be like an expert in a specific area,
Right.
and
Mm.
then that was the thing. It was like why these rappers acting in movies now. People were upset
Mm-hmm.
about that.
Yeah.
Like when I was
Yeah.
growing up, now everybody like does everything, and that like is good for me because I like I said to learn about other things. Like when I
Mm.
see other artists creating things, it's like I see these beautiful paintings. It's like I don't think I'm a painter, but I'm like I would like to try that, and I'll do it for a bit, just to see like what it's like, just so I can
Wow.
have that compassion for other artists and the work that they do. A lot of
Mm.
times, like they said, we don't do anything on our own. So like if I'm making a film and I have to bring in like an editor, or I have to bring in a sound person or a director or a producer, any of these things, like it's good for me to know what they do, like not because I need to do it, like that's what they're there for, but so
Yeah.
that I can like engage with them and get the thing that I need. So I am like I'm a very artsy person. I love and respect art. I know what art can do for people.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's something that like it's easier for me to want to like dip in a lot of things. So
Mm-hmm.
because I don't necessarily always have the training for things, there are some things that I can do well even though I haven't done it, and people will reach out and say, Tezarah, can you do this thing?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I mean, I did it twice before. I don't know if I should be doing it for you. Like so it's like I have to deal with some of those types of things as well internally when there are other people, that see value in the things that I could do,
Wow.
who see things in me that I don't yet see.
Yep.
Wow.
And then feeling comfortable enough to like stand in that and like
Yeah.
be an authority in the space when I'm there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I also grew up. I'm an '80s baby, so a
Whoop
lot of
whoop.
times my mother was like, "You don't talk when adults are
Yeah.
talking. You
Yep.
respect adults." So I also have this like this like hierarchy thing where,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm around a lot of powerful people sometimes, and it's like sometimes I kind of like let them, like I like kind of fall
Yeah.
back and let them do it
Yeah.
because I'm like, you are, you might know more than I do, you might have a different position than I do. So I'm like, have this like authority, complex kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. Where they're also, I have to do extra myself to feel like I, can be in a space with these people
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, some of these people been, like they've been doing stuff for years, or, they have lots of accolades, or they're connected to very like, people in the industry, those types of things. And it's like, sometimes like with my little old documentary, my little old this with the bad sound, but I try. And I know that that does, it's something that I have to overcome, because then it's like
Yeah.
I can get caught in this space of like overthinking and thinking if it's a good enough, or if I should put it out now, if I should work on it more, and I can like kind of get caught in the planning of things.
Yeah.
So I think it's always good to have, like I said, people around you who
Yeah.
value the work that you do, who see the work that you do, and who trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Tezra, thank you so much for sharing that. We have like 3 more minutes with you. Can you share one piece of advice that you would give for a woman in their journey toward dopeness and their dope evolution, as
Mm-hmm.
Ayana shed light on? Can you give a piece of advice there, and then can you also let the people know how they can get in touch with you if they want to connect for the podcast, or want to connect with you for photography or videography or production?
I guess advice. I mean, I guess I would say to, I mean, y'all said it in the beginning, that I value the community that I have, so I think, if you're a woman, you're working out here, like build your community, build the people in your corner who, do similar things, build people in your corner who do different things and can advise you, and support you. Um, and just push you. I'm also a
Mm.
person, I do stuff and I don't tell anybody about it. It's like,
Mm.
so it's like lots of people around me who are like better at doing that, and they're like, Tezra did this, you should, repost
Wow.
this, or you should put it in this thing, so having people around you that compliment you in different ways. And I'm not saying like, you're good at what you do. I'm saying, like they have other skill
Skill
sets,
sets. Yeah.
that fit in line with yours. Um, and I would say just do the thing you want to do. Like
Yeah.
do it. This is like me telling it to myself as well. I have so many ideas for things. Just start doing it and put it
Yeah.
out there, and see what happens. Because you never know. Somebody might gravitate towards it. Someone might think it's interesting. Like I said, I had a busted mic. Trying to do this podcast, and Google was like, "We want you to be in this cohort."
Wow.
So,
Ended.
and that
Yo.
wasn't
It's dope.
that wasn't yeah, so you never know, like, just because you think it's not good enough, or it's not a certain quality, maybe it's good enough quality for someone else who's looking for it, or doesn't know much about quality, but they're like, this content is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, do the thing, build your community. And I think they should listen to the beginning of this episode and the stuff that Ayana talked about, like with dope, and like the progression of that, like how you like come into the world, and then how you like acknowledge yourself, those types of things. I think that like that was like such a beautiful
Thank you.
series of statements that you made. And yeah, I think that's beautiful. Like if that would be the last thing, I would say to listen to what I said. um
Yes.
and in terms of like people getting in contact with me, I'm on Instagram. I guess if you Google my name, Tezarah Wilkins, you should be able to find me in all places. But my Instagram is at Tezarah, Tezarah. And my email for photography is info@tezarahwilkinsphoto.com. So you can find my stuff. I also work for an empathy centered news and media organization called Love Now Media, and we do a lot of amazing work. A lot of the documentaries that I've produced and docuseries are with that organization. So definitely go to lovenowmedia.com and check out some of the work that I've done with them as well. I also like photograph a lot of their programs and events. But yes, you can Google two A's, Tezarah. Some people
Come
spell it
on.
wrong, but
Please don't do that.
you get lost. You gonna get lost out there in the internet weeds.
And the internet, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Oh man. Well, Tezarah, thank you so much for coming on the Tommy Talk Show. You know you are my friend, you are my sister, and you know I love you tremendously. And I can't wait to have you back on the show and connect with you outside the show. Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen, don't go
yes.
anywhere. We'll be right back. And we have like somebody who is like a mentor, a friend, somebody who I have looked up to for years, since the very first day I met her when I walked into those hallways in Arcadia for the Black Male Development Symposium. I have with me, ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Dr. Doreen Loury.
The doctor is in.
The doctor is
Hey,
in.
this is the doctor.
Yes.
How are you? How are you on this really chilly and cold May day? Can you believe the temperature?
Oh my goodness, Dr. Loury, it is cold out in this piece, but you showing up with all this light and all this strength and all this
Energy.
glory, like,
Yes.
yo, you warming us up in this can.
Oh, I got up. I was up at 7. I was on the track. I got up, did my walk, got my coffee, and came back home.
I know that's right. Go ahead, Dr. Loury. Oh, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read a piece of Dr. Loury's bio.
A piece.
A piece, y'all. Just so y'all know who we have in the room. And then I actually do want to read the very last 2 sentences of her bio, because I think it'll definitely resonate with our listeners and with us both too, Ayana.
Yeah.
So Dr. Doreen Loury is a former founder, director of the Pan-African Studies program at Arcadia University at Glenside, PA, and assistant professor in the Department of Sociology, Anthropology, Criminal Justice. Beginning November 2022, Dr. Loury was named the founding executive director of Arcadia's newly developed Center of Anti-Racist Scholarship, Advocacy, and Action. This interdisciplinary academic center is dedicated to advancing scholarship on race, racism, and anti-racism in the past as well as the contemporary world. During her 30 years tenure at Arcadia, she developed the university's first African American Studies curriculum and created the university's first minor in Pan-African Studies, which beginning fall 2024, let's go, will be a university major. And I want to hop down to the last part of Dr. Loury's, and she's also a very proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Kappa
Get it
Alpha
right.
Sorority.
Get it right. Get
I
it
gotta
right.
get it right. The AKAs. I don't want them on my lawn coming at me.
We gonna help him out. We gonna help him out.
Her life motto: when I'm in the twilight years and rocking on my porch with the sun in my eyes, the smile that creeps across my face will not be for the things I did not do or wish I had done, but for all the things that I did and all those I tried to help.
Yep.
That part. Dr. Loury, welcome to the Tommy Talk Show.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Legendary, pioneer, unapologetically everything that we need you to be. And it is so clear that you have understood the assignment for over 30 years. I need people not to gloss over that, because you have to think about all of the different social and economic transitions that you have transcended in order to leave a fingerprint that cannot be erased. And for that, I say, thank you, legend. Thank you, pioneer. We appreciate you. We so need you, and we so honor and esteem you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Loury, you have done so much. You go into places and you shake stuff up, and you do it unapologetically, and you do it with so much passion, and you're just solid. What contributes to that? How do you show up in a room repeatedly being able to do that? What contributes to that level of dopeness, Dr. Loury?
You know what? When people have, and at this stage of my life, I'm a young 76, I call it now.
Go ahead.
And so I'm from a different era.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And in that era, there was no choice.
Wow.
I love it.
There was no choice. There was
Yes,
no
ma'am.
choice. And not having having the mindset of there not being a choice. I tell people all the time, I never did anything that I really planned. It just happened because that's what I was supposed to do.
Wow. Yes,
And
ma'am.
see, that's a whole different mindset. When you
Yeah.
make all these plans there were a couple things at Arcadia I wanted to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
So I made sure they happened, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But otherwise, I would be in spaces with white folks.
Yeah.
And when I didn't hear the language or whatever was going on, if the back of my neck, that hair came up, I'm
Wow.
like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So if this isn't right, I have to ask the question then, well, why aren't we doing it this way? Why aren't we including these folks? Why aren't we adding this curriculum? Why aren't we? That was my father taught me that. My mother and father, who only had 7th grade educations.
Wow.
Okay, Depression kids, Southern. My mother was from Biloxi, Mississippi. You can't get any more Southern than that. And my father, you can't. And my dad was from the Carolinas.
Yeah.
And we moved into an all-white neighborhood when I was 8 years old. I had never heard the N-word thrown at me until I moved into that neighborhood.
Wow.
And when I never forget at 8, going to my father saying, why are all the signs on the houses? Why are people leaving? What did we do wrong?
Wow.
And he took my hand and rubbed my hand and said, you see this pretty brown stuff on your hand, meaning my skin? He said, baby, there ain't nothing you've done wrong. They're scared of you.
Wow.
And that stayed with me. Think about that to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
He said, they're scared of you. All you got to keep doing is doing what you were doing.
Wow.
And from that moment on, my mother always said, please understand, there's nothing you can't do.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
And saying that to an 8-year-old in the segregated of Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I was a nappy-head little colored girl. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
And knowing that I was in the environment of hostility, going to school every day for a month, and people surrounding us and calling us names. I mean, I was the only black child in a classroom for 3 years.
Wow.
My brother and I were it. And a couple of more who lived on the other side of the tracks. We lived in the houses. See, there was a difference.
Wow.
Okay. So having that as my backdrop to growing up.
Yes, ma'am.
Really made it so that there's really not a whole lot that I can't do and that I shouldn't try to do. And social justice was simply part of my DNA. That was like, I got to fight for all this because we were fighting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
It was a part of the culture. It was a part of
Yeah.
the culture that you were cultivated in. So, Dr. Loury, when you think about how rich the soil was that you found yourself planted in as that 8-year-old little girl, what has kept you fired up about making sure that you pour yourself out as the nutrients that are needed for today's little 8-year-old girl? Because she too is coming up in a time that's volatile. She
Mhm.
too is coming up in a time that challenges her identity. She too is coming up in a time where she may need people that are willing and able to speak to me in a way that activates and affirms me. So, what keeps you sort of plugged into this generation's 8-year-old little girl and the culture and the climate that she's growing through?
What I've always said to people, and I think even Tommy and I've had these discussions before, I have never understood why we as a people expect or even think that our oppressors are going to do anything that's going to enhance or help our life.
Wow.
I have never understood that. You
Wow.
know, if I mean, when people don't even think you are human,
Yes.
Yes,
why do
ma'am.
you think they're going to do anything for your education, for anything, your health, for your housing, for your self-concept? I don't believe in self-esteem. I think that's a word white folks made up. Okay, I really do. But I understand self-concept.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a whole different ball game. That's a whole
Wow.
different ball game.
Wow.
Okay. So again, that pouring into is not going to come from a segment of society. And I really want some of these young folks to understand trying to somehow make it so that you are seen in that society. What did a young lady tell me when I was teaching? She said, well, Dr. Loury, racism isn't the same now. I said, why? Because we all are thinking the same. I said, okay, come back to see me in 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Keep on
Okay.
living. Woo.
All
Keep
right.
on
Keep
living.
on living. And there was a term I used to use, and I called it the slap. I said, when you get the slap,
I remember
come
that.
back and let me know. And I've had kids write me. They said, oh my God, you were right.
Hmm.
So again, it's about making sure that 8-year-old little girl, little boy, whatever, really understands that you are not just someone. And I get people, oh, you're kings and queens. Not everybody was a daggone king and queen.
Ooh.
Okay? Not everybody. All right.
Okay, well, we
All
put that one off
right.
the bed. All right. We put that
You
bitch
know,
right down.
some people, pulled a cart. Some people sold groceries. Okay, come on, y'all. You know. All right. But your level of humanity is what counts.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what counts. So making sure that these young people understand that you are this wonderful human being.
Hmm.
And I do say, and I know maybe a little old school, and yes, you have a duty to make sure that everybody does know your humanity and that you are pouring into other people so that it is that each one teach one.
Yes,
It
Yes,
ma'am.
really
ma'am.
is.
Yes, ma'am.
It really is. And I think in some ways we've lost some of that because we're all on TikTok trying to do what the TikTok people are doing.
Wow. Wow.
I just
We
want
were
y'all to
just
take
talking
note.
about.
Dr. Lowry just said
Wow.
TikTok, so this is important to me because I feel like some of the disadvantage that young people do to themselves is they make the assumption that because you're from a different era, you don't know what's going on in their generation. Dr. Lowry said TikTok. We didn't. We didn't
Right.
bring that to the table.
Right.
So that means that she's just as tapped in as you are, but she also is able to make heads or tails of what I need to take into my spirit and what is truly a waste of my investment of the one thing I
Yeah.
can't get back, which is my time. And
In my time,
concept,
yeah.
that self-concept that you talked about was so rich because I think when we talk about the concept of being dope, and especially as women and looking at leaders and trailblazers like Dr. Lowry, the self-concept comes from how much of your time you are truly pouring in and pulling out of what you're putting into your ecosystem, what's going into your ear gates, your eye gates, how your head and your heart space are on a day-to-day, and who you are connected to keep you going in the season saints of be in the straight and narrow way.
Yes,
because the reality is some of the choices that we have, the younger generations, it's a little bit too much. I'm of an unpopular opinion, for folks in our generation, but it's too much because, like you said, when you didn't have the choices, you were focused with intention because you knew what the expectation was. And now they have gender neutral bathrooms. They don't know what's expected to go in what direction at all. They just got choices. And they don't have the manpower and the bandwidth to process all the choices. And so then we look to a legend like yourself to help to keep us focused and to remind us to be anchored in what the assignment is.
And something that you just go ahead, Dr. Rowley.
Well, I'm just what you were saying, but see, I'm actually all for those choices and options. Okay. So you may not think I am for it because when you have those choices and options, it allows you then to look at life in a way that you can then, what's the word I'm looking for? As you are making those choices and options, you look at your value system and see what's guiding you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that's a lot different. Again, we didn't have a lot of choices and options, so we would just push and had to work and pull ahead. I love it that you got gender neutral bathrooms. Okay, all right. What does that say about you then? And it makes you think that okay, am I uncomfortable with this? First time I went into one, I didn't know it. I didn't know it was gender neutral. And me and the young white guy looked at each other. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I walked into the wrong bathroom." And he said, "No, ma'am, it's gender neutral." And I said, "Oh, that's what the two little things were saying." And he and I stayed in that bathroom for 1/2 hour talking about it.
Wow.
All right. Because I said, "Well, what are you supposed to use?" I said, "I don't want to use the basin." And we had this phenomenal conversation about what it means. Yeah. And what I loved, he was like, he really helped me because I said, "That's a straight woman." And this young man was gay. He said, "But it's not about gay or straight. It's about choices." And if you are an ally, which I don't like that word, but ally of what the consciousness is out there. And I mean, 1/2 hour, he and I are sitting in there talking.
Wow.
And people are coming back and forth going, "Okay, this is real different."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, my thing, and that's why I love teaching, is what do I need to do to understand whatever is a so-called new, woke, whatever. Yeah. I'm not saying I may go along with it, but daggone it, I'm going to understand it.
Yes, ma'am.
Love that.
Something that, and we have like 2 minutes left. Actually, I'm getting a note from my producer. We're actually at time, but something that Ayana.
No problem.
No, you're fine, Dr. Loury. Something that Ayana shared just made me think of that. There's nothing new under the sun. It just shows up differently.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
And just
it's wrapped up with a new bow. It's wrapped up with a new bow. That's it. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Loury, thank you so much for being on the Tommy Talk Show. So I want to establish this right now. You're going to come back, right?
Oh, anytime. All you got to do is ask me. Next time I'll come in the studio.
Y'all heard it, y'all. Y'all heard it. You can't go back on it now, Dr. Loury. Y'all heard it.
No, I'll come in the studio. I would have come today. I've got 2 other runs. When I finish this, I'm in my car and I'm going somewhere else. So that's the only reason I didn't come in today.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate you. This time was still so valuable. Yes. I miss you so much. Hopefully we can connect out of here. So after this, so we can grab some lunch or some coffee, my treat. So thank you so much, Dr. Loury.
All right, y'all have a great day. Have a great day.
Hey, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye
now.
Bye-bye. That was dope. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been with us for the entire show for She's Dope. Dope. And I had my guest co-host here, Ayana Blount. Ayana, thank you so much So we're wrapping up now. Huge shout out to the Culture Talk Show, P3 Christian Radio, and the folks at the Convos Lounge. I'm your host, TW Suggs, and I'm with
the Passion Strategist, Ayana Blount.
And we will talk to you later. Peace.